Alright, everybody. Today I want to talk about something that I think we've all gone through at one point or another in our lives, and is definitely one of the most frustrating and challenging aspects of the human condition. And that is not knowing what to do next. Sometimes that comes from us never starting and finally deciding to invest in ourselves. Sometimes it comes after accomplishing a major goal that took a long time, a lot of your energy and effort. Sometimes it comes from a major pivotal event that was completely unexpected, and now you just feel like, what do I do now? Because your life is somehow completely altered by an external circumstance. Regardless of where it comes from, we all know the challenge. There's fear, there's uncertainty, there's frustration. There's that feeling of stuckness that, more than anything, I feel like the body just wants to avoid. Outside of maybe pain. Alright, I'll give you that one. We want to avoid pain, and we want to avoid feeling like we have no idea what to do next. But it's not actually as hard as we think to fix that. When you don't know what to do next, it's important to just stop. Now, this isn't true. I used to work search and rescue for a while, and I loved it, and I've been backpacking for a long time, as some of you may know. But regardless, lost still requires a similar response. You stop. You think, you observe, and you plan. Now, with that is going to come a certain amount of frustration. Because the last thing you want to do when you're feeling stuck is slow down. But it's as true in life as it is in quicksand, which, let's be honest, I guess that's life too, right? You get stuck in quicksand, that's real. The more you move without a good plan and intention, the quicker it sucks you down. And the reason that's sort of true in life as well is because the more actions we take without a clear goal, a clear plan, really knowing where we want to go, we actually feel more stuck. And we start to undermine our confidence. It's hard to tell ourselves we can solve this if we keep doing a whole bunch of things that don't solve the problem. Again, the solution is easier than you think. You just have to stop. More importantly, the reason STOP works, that acronym works, is because it gives us space to think. It allows us to change our focus. Rather than looking as far out as we may want to. Just like if you were standing at a trailhead and you could see a peak 10 miles away. It doesn't mean you can get there once you start getting into the trees and the brush and you have no idea what's there. Okay. But if you sit long enough and observe what's going on, internally as well as externally, it allows you to acclimatize to your situation. But also, when you're not trying to come up with rash plans without any information, it allows the right information to come to the surface. It allows us to realize what we weren't focusing on, which a lot of time is the answer. high emotion, while, now listen, high emotion is fantastic in a lot of ways. Being moderately excited doesn't sound very fun. Being tentatively ready to go doesn't sound like much fun. Being super excited about something, lots of fun. Feeling completely prepared, way more fun. Alright? As if there actually was a completely prepared, but you know what I mean. Regardless, to be clear, both of those states require slowing down and figuring out the answer, right? To be super excited about something, you have to envision what that something is. You have a clear understanding. I am so excited because of this. There's a clear feeling attached to the end, the outcome, or the process, right? There is clear visualization of the experience. That's where that excitement comes from. That's why people can get just as excited or more excited about a candy bar or their favorite comfort food at the end of the day than they actually get satisfaction out of eating it. That's true, by the way. Go ahead, look it up. But regardless, my point is that without having an idea of where to go, I know it can feel overwhelming and emotions get high. And the more you try to do things and they don't work out, the more frustrating it is. So when we find ourselves in that situation, I just want you to stop and slow down. Just sit. Relax. First thing, what to do? Put time on your planner. Make time to just relax. And I'm not going to say for introspection, not for meditation. It's just time to do nothing. Permission to just sit and exist and think about what comes to mind with a space to allow it to process and percolate and grow. Start there, and if you do that as a regular practice, daily, every other day, whichever, I definitely recommend daily, but just starting out by making that space to just exist for a little bit without any objective beyond just slowing down your nervous system and allowing yourself the ability to process and reason rather than trying to do it all ad hoc, like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. Getting just a little bit of information on what you think you might want and then dashing towards it. Just start by sitting. Just start by 15 minutes, 5 minutes. It's going to be really uncomfortable. I know people who hate it. If they have 2 minutes of downtime, it drives them crazy. So figure out your limit, right? I'm going to say, carve out 30 minutes in your day, because that may not be realistic for you, for one. Although if it's not, I would really look at your time management, but that's an entirely different talk. But regardless, find your threshold and give yourself space to think. Just let yourself go through, find out what your brain is saying when you give yourself enough space to listen to it. Right? When you give yourself enough time to actually focus on what's happening. If you're able to do that, eventually the clarity will come. And when the clarity comes, then you can figure out the next step. But in the meantime, stop stressing out. Just make time. Just make space.